Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. We might. Yeah. We probably will want to move these off here. I mean, we're probably going to get some sort of comments or something, you know?
Get in trouble?
Yeah, we're probably going to get in trouble.
Well, there's nothing here for anybody to get in trouble about.
No, I mean, it's all right, but...
Why would we get in trouble?
I don't know. People like to complain about things.
Yeah, well, look at it's just a couple of joints.
Yeah.
Just a rusty razor
blade. Some
well, whatever it may be. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's James Disciple Johnson. Welcome to the Daily Update. I am your intrepid host with a whole bunch of drugs. Woo! And Kink's here. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Justin Kincaid. I'm a prospect for Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club.
Yep. Look at this stuff, huh?
So we've got ourselves a little assortment right here.
I mean,
Well, let's talk about it. So these are cigarettes.
No, these are joints.
These are cigarettes.
No, these are joints, man.
These are cigarettes. This is tobacco.
Oh, okay.
This is tobacco. These are props. This is tobacco. Why do we have a $20 bill here? That's what.
$20 bill. Well, listen. We have a little bit of. It's about an 8-ball.
This is coffee creamer.
It's about an 8-ball.
This is sweet tea.
That's $150 worth of coffee creamer if it's coffee creamer. And
how do you know about that?
Siggy saki. Oi.
It's just sweet tea, man.
Oh,
it's just sweet tea.
Woo, I had a chaser.
It's just sweet tea. It's just.
Well, guys, I know that you know what this stuff is, but I know you've seen it before,
right?
And I know that you probably don't do it, or maybe you do. In fact, I know a lot of Christians who, quite honestly, partake in a lot of the things that you see here and other substances, and yet they believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Yeah. Have you ever seen this kind of thing before, Kink?
So yeah, I have. Actually, way back in the day, I was quite familiar with most of this stuff. Alcoholism was a big part of my history. White substances were a big part of my history, and these things were definitely part of who I was. But are you really just okay?
For the show.
Right, yeah, sure, for the yeah. Okay.
So how long have you been clean and sober?
I've been clean and sober for 5,989 days.
And do you want to know what all this stuff is right here?
I do, yeah. So okay. What are we talking about?
All right. So if this was real, we got a couple of joints, because pot, marijuana, it's medicinal, man.
Right.
And then we got this is a $20 bill. And this $20 bill, do you understand why I got a $20 bill right here?
I'm thinking it's
a nice tube, because you need a tube, and then you got a rusty razor blade, disgusting rusty razor blade, and you got a couple lines here, Mm-hmm. These could be anything. This could be,
it could be just anything.
Oh yeah, it could be anything. This could, and what you do is you just anyway. And then there's about $150 worth of creamer here. It's creamer,
coffee creamer,
and then we got some. Well, this isn't whiskey.
This is sweet tea.
This is sweet tea.
This is sweet tea.
This is just like Mama used to make it. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just he's gonna just a shot at.
Oh, Lord.
Now,
it really is sweet tea. By the way, it's very sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Okay. It's disgustingly sweet. Okay. So, my question to you, and I want you to type it out in the comments. Have you seen this stuff before? Have you done this stuff before? What's your feeling as a believer? And remember, guys, keep it kind. There's people who are Christians, who go to church, who use substances. Let's talk about what we do and what we believe, not about maybe downing other people.
Right.
There's folks that watch the show that this is part of their life, and I'm not here to judge them.
No.
So
the first step I'd like to do is let's define what drugs are.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, drugs. Okay. So
when's the last time you did drugs?
Last time I did drugs? Yesterday.
What'd you do?
Caffeine.
Oh!
Energy drinks.
Caffeine. Is it?
Energy drinks.
We didn't touch that. I didn't bring it. Right. I do have coffee creamer, so that'll work.
Yes. The reason why we don't have energy drinks here is because I drank them all.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
I use energy drinks. We used to use white powders, like, to keep up all weekend. Oh, wow. I didn't really snort the creamer. And we used to use white powders to stay up all weekend. You know, you're riding motorcycles, it's good times, I want to stay awake. Now we use Red Bull. We'll like bring a case of Red Bull.
Yep.
For $36. You can stay up all weekend. Even white powders don't do that very well.
Yep.
And a case of Red Bull, stay awake. Is Red Bull a drug?
Yeah. Is it?
I mean, it's obviously a drug.
It is.
It's addictive. Mm-hmm. Caffeine's addictive.
It makes you into a manic state.
It does.
The crash is horrible.
Horrible.
It's just horrible.
But it's not as bad as any of this, right?
Yeah, any of things.
I mean, is all of this bad?
Well, no. Okay, so for me, I'm clean and sober. I don't do drugs. I have no problem saying that. I'm very proud of that. But marijuana, is it a drug?
I want to hear. Listen, I want to hear. Put it in the comments. Marijuana, is it a drug? What's your experience with marijuana? Are you a vapor? Do you do medical marijuana pills? I hear there's people that have 300 seizures a day if they don't have marijuana. And with marijuana, do you smoke the marijuanas?
I do.
Really?
Yes, I do.
That would not have been my impression of you when I met you.
Yeah. I don't believe it's a drug. The pain that I have in my shoulder. Now, I refuse all kinds of... I refuse all kinds of drugs.
When we went to the hospital, because Kink has a broken shoulder, does this hurt?
A little bit.
How's that?
Okay.
That probably did hurt.
Oh, that one did hurt.
When we went to the hospital, he refused the drugs. They were going to give him pills. He had a broken shoulder. He had a sprained ankle. He had a road rash. It was brutal.
It was gross.
Brutal. It was disgusting. I had to clean it. We wiped flesh off that thing. 2 days later, like whole chunks of flesh. It was disgusting.
It's terrible.
Anyway, I need a drink.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
But it was terrible. But here's the thing.
He refused pills. You don't take aspirin?
I don't take aspirin.
Ibuprofen.
I do take ibuprofen.
Tylenol.
I don't take...
You were concerned about taking vitamin C when I offered you vitamin C.
Yep. Because I have an addictive personality.
Vitamin C is not addictive.
I know, but what I'm saying is that I'm 100% committed to being clean and sober. I want to keep my mind sharp, and I don't want to be on any substances at all.
What about creamer?
You know what? I don't even drink coffee.
That is true, but you drink energy drinks.
I drink energy drinks like nobody.
So when's the last time you did really drugs, really drugs? By the way, did you notice that on my side it's black and dark and brooding, and on your side it's red and happy? What's up with that?
It is red.
Half my mind is the problem.
That's nice. I like that.
Listen to me. When's the last time you really did drugs?
So almost 6,000 days ago.
Almost 6,000 days ago.
So I was into quite a bit of the old
You're
stuff.
ever going to ask me any questions?
I'm going to in just
Did
a
you
second.
forget that you were supposed to ask
I
me
am
questions?
not. No.
It's so terrible. I'm going to drink.
No, listen. He's going to keep drinking.
Do you drink? Put it in the comments. And I'm not supposed to, there's a whole thing. We're not supposed to talk about drugs.
Okay.
In fact, we're probably going to get in trouble.
We're probably going to get in trouble.
Well, these are visual aids. We're filmmakers.
These are props. But that being said, though, I mean, how do you know about this stuff? I mean, have you had experience with it?
Oh, I've had some experiences.
Such as?
Well, I had a drug of choice.
Okay. And that was?
Whatever would fit in this hand. And this hand.
I see.
Did it all. I never used a needle, but look, coke, meth, shrooms, whatever it was, were part of where I was at. We got to turn my phone off.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Many, many years ago. We're talking decades ago.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking, 16 years or so. So yeah, I mean, listen.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the Nazarite Initiative real quick?
Well, the Nazarite Initiative is part of Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club. We try to mentor men in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways that we mentor men is we teach them, if they want to, how to get off drugs and alcohol. I mean, if you're happy using drugs and alcohol, then it is not my business to tell you anything. In fact, this is sweet tea, but I do drink occasionally. Yeah. I'll have a beer. I'll have scotch. I like scotch. But there are guys within the club who do not want to do that. And so the drug-free initiative for Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club is that we teach fasting. If you can learn to fast from food and not eat, you can learn to not do drugs.
Absolutely.
And so we found a fast in the scripture called the Nazarite fast. Samson was a Nazarite. He got the long hair that got cut off, and he had women problems too.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet anybody with women problems?
I think I have.
Is it?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Just people that I know. Yes.
And so the Nazarite fast is very simply a very difficult fast. You can't shave your head. You can't cut your beard. You can't eat pork. You can't have grapes. You can't have wine. You can't have beer. You can't have anything. Vinegar. Vinegar's in everything, by the way. And so if you can go through the process to learn and then abide by this difficult fast, you can also learn to abide by. And so it's kind of like our own 12-step program. The guys use Celebrate Recovery and they use the 12-step programs and all the different things. But the Nazarite fast is specifically about the spiritual aspect of giving up or fasting or not doing something out of respect for God.
And that's actually what I'm doing right now.
Are you?
I am, yeah.
As if I didn't know.
This is kink.
Indeed.
Please tell me more about how this feels here.
Right?
What if I poke the front?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That one, yeah.
Where's it broken exactly?
It's right there.
Right here.
Yeah, right through there.
This area here.
Right in there. Yeah, I'm just leaning away. But yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I have a mentor. I have a mentor in the club who goes to the pledge with me. I don't think it's okay for me to tell who that is, just because he might have his own thing.
That's right.
But that's what it is. It's about accountability. It's about having mentors. It's about
just
sweet tea. It's about
just sweet
tea. But it's about having mentors, and it's about having
a sponsor
and sponsors. Yes, men who hold you accountable, but also don't do it in a condemning way.
That's right. We don't want to condemn anybody. Listen,
absolutely not.
Now, in Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club, we have some rules. So there's no drugs, and so that basically means that you can't do the stuff in the middle here, but everything else is good.
Right.
Is that kind of how it works?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you do on your own medical time is not up to me.
Right.
You know.
But alcohol, let's talk
about... we
about...
also don't drink in the rag.
Right.
So we believe if you're wearing your cut, if you're in a disciple thing, then you should not drink alcohol. And it used to be that we could not smoke cigarettes either, but that's been changed by the vote of the brothers.
Yeah.
And of course, I would actually never shoot video if this was real scotch.
Right.
I just wouldn't. We anytime the cameras come around, we're like, oh, hey guys, what's going on?
But not because it's deception, but because there are a lot of people who...
You don't expect to go to church and your priest gets up in the pulpit and goes, hey guys, we're going to have a scotch. And I hope you people read your Bible or you're going to hell.
Right. But it is...
But if he goes home and has a scotch, who cares?
Exactly.
What does the Bible say about drinking?
Drinking is fine. Drunkenness is the problem.
That's right.
Drunkenness.
Why is drunkenness the problem?
Because you lose your sense of self. You lose your focus on God. You lose your focus on everything. From what I've gathered,
I drink and I don't lose my focus.
Right.
Have you ever? You know that I drink. Have you ever seen me drunk?
No.
You sure? What about that one night?
No, but I wouldn't say you were drunk though. Drunk to me is pass out drunk, vomiting everywhere, losing control, and being insane.
That was not me.
No.
I was completely in control.
Completely in control.
But yeah, so I mean, drinking. I think that most Christians have a standard that says it's your business. Now, the way I was raised in the Baptist church is there's no cards, there's to be no dancing, no touching, no gambling, no drinking, and then like sex, and the rest of it was right out. Like just woo, none of that. You are a sinner and forbidden if you do. And you shall surely die if you do not pour us devil's juice out.
Okay, then.
Is that how you were raised?
That was not how I was raised.
Yeah, your parents... Well, I can't talk about that. So I was raised that none of it was right. And at some point, I just went party wild.
Right.
I mean, party wild. I got a motorcycle. I got some... well, it started for me with alcohol. I mean, I started drinking at home when I was young, right? I was... Let's see. When I started buying alcohol, I was 14. That was back when you could get away with it.
Yeah. And
then I started smoking pot at 14. This is not pot, by the way. This is cigarettes.
Tobacco.
I hope you can see there's brown tobacco in there. The lighting's off. Anyway, and so I started smoking pot, and then I would be like, this was my life. And it was for a lot of years.
That, right?
What's that?
There's going to be screen grabs of that.
Listen, do what you want. Okay. Make a fat head. We'll put it on the wall. James Disciple Johnson with a bag of white creamer. And some liquor. And then by the time I was about 21, 22 is when I started coke and then I transitioned to meth. And then it was a few years and then I was fine. Well, I got in a wreck. I couldn't walk in. The Lord protected me through the whole thing. My parents were praying for me a lot. Mm-hmm. I did a fair amount of drugs 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And shrooms and things that I wanted to experience. I would watch other people do them and think, those people are terrible. What terrible people they are. They're disgusting. I'll never trust somebody who goes around and like cuts themselves lines and then snorts them off the bar, Yeah. I'm never going to be around those people. It's just creamer. What?
No, it is just creamer.
Let's see if I can get a nummy here.
Yeah, right. Just a little taste.
You know what? What's wrong with, listen, I put creamer in my coffee.
Right.
What are you so bothered by if I snort some creamer? Now listen to me. I think that as long as you're going to ingest the creamer, the proper way to do it is so you can get like a drip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does that seem reasonable, you guys? I want to see some thumbs up and some likes and some smiles if I should snort some creamer. If I shouldn't at all, then give the frowny thing. We got to turn it on so we can see what they're doing here.
Look, we are not. This is not happening. This is not happening.
If I get a lot of likes and loves and thumbs up, I might.
Even if you get, oh my God, look at that.
Here you go. It's like
guys.
It's like a little fire.
Remember,
listen. Somebody be on Kinks and the side of reason and the side of
somebody
value.
give me a
somebody
frowny
give
face.
a frowny face.
Nope,
it's all love and like.
Oh wow.
It's all laughs and loves and likes, man. We gotta snort some creamer. I will do it if you do it.
I am not doing it.
Would that mess? Did you ever do white powders?
Yeah.
Back in the day,
yeah.
Would it mess you up to like snort creamer?
I think it would. Yeah.
Like just because it's like an effed up thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just like effed up. Like why would you snort creamer? Well, it's fun.
Because it's fun.
It's a bit for a show.
Yeah, but there's the things that I have levels like alcohol. I have no problem with people drinking around me. It's not a conviction of mine. I have
really?
no problem. Yeah.
Doesn't bother you a bit?
Doesn't bother me a bit. Doesn't bother me a bit.
This has the taste of a warm summer Scottish day.
Sweet tea with a little bit of lemon.
So if your arm's hurting,
okay, but
what's your pain level?
4. Just kind of a standard.
Do you need any medicine or anything?
Do I need any cigarettes? I don't smoke cigarettes.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
right.
Do you need me to ask somebody to bring medicine over or something?
No.
Okay.
But that's the thing. So I did have a problem with it, and there are a lot of people watching who may have a problem with some of the visuals that we're doing, and that's what I'm conscious of. Because
are you guys bothered by this? Do the visuals? Listen, if you feel like the visuals bother you, give me a frowny face right now.
Yeah.
Like if you're even bothered to see me sitting here and just like cutting up lines of creamer and stuff, it's
yeah.
If that bothers you, give me the frown. I'm curious, what's your like gut reaction to seeing guys sit around and do this stuff?
Yeah. And that's what I was talking about. Like there are a lot of people that we don't judge. We're not judging. This isn't a thing like that. But when we talk about things like this and you see it, there could be people who have problems with it. Yeah.
Like triggered.
Like really, really problems.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful about that, But this is just jokes. This is just, for props and things.
Just jokes, man. It's just jokes. Well, guys, put it in the comments, by the way. I am James Disciple Johnson, your intrepid host of the Daily Update. Having a sweet tea. If you have this kind of bottle, man, you got to pull that cork with your teeth. You know what I mean? Oh, hell yeah, sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla.
Oh, hell yeah. A root beer.
That's right.
What's your experience with drugs and alcohol? What do you think? I think there are some Christians out there who are believers, who love Jesus, who this is part of their, maybe not their daily lifestyle, their weekly lifestyle, but they might get on the bike and go down to Daytona and buy them $150 worth of whatever, and might have a nice weekend with it. Is that a sin?
So I don't think so.
What? I'm sorry, did you just say people who snort white powders up their nose is not sinners?
That's right.
Well, actually, they are sinners. We're all sinners.
Yes, we are all
So hang on a minute. If you're a clean and sober, 5,000, almost 6,000 days clean and sober, what in the high hell are you doing saying that it's not sin for somebody to snort a white powder?
If they're not convicted about it, if they don't have...
But it's bad for their body. They're the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Man, walking outside with pollution's bad for my body. Drinking bad water's bad for my body. Eating junk food's bad for my body.
Clearly.
Look at this. Okay, they just mold me to love. That's it. Anyway.
There's a lot of him to love.
There's a lot.
By the way, just so you guys know, Kink is single. And
here we go.
I think we're going to have the Kink dating show because Kink, I think it would be wonderful if some ladies came over to see Kink. Are we allowed to? By the way, give me love and lots of hearts. Give
Absolutely.
me the hearts.
Yeah.
Give me the hearts if you think it's a great idea to have a Kink dating show. Because Kink, Oh, there's already something. It's fun to do, though.
Yeah, it's good.
Kink not have a girlfriend. He does not want a girlfriend. He does not want any ladies coming over. He's totally against the concept of a kink dating show. No love for the kink dating show.
No.
All right. So what are we supposed to? Are there any comments? By the way,
There are some comments. So David K says liquor, weed, pills don't bother me anymore, but tobacco, yikes! I can taste it.
We should have put some. We should have gotten like some vitamins and just poured them out like pills.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's taking the
It's taking it to the next level, son.
Right. But so anyway, those things don't bother me. But tobacco does because he's convicted because he wants to quit smoking.
Yeah,
and that's important, right?
And that's the thing, and I think that's a key. These actually are cigarettes. I smoke cigarettes. And so as a backup, if I run out of cigarettes, I've got a bag of rolling tobacco, and it's cheap, and you can just roll up a cigarette real quick. So these actually are cigarettes. I try not to smoke cigarettes around guys who are, recovering from smoking. It has actually caused me to start smoking again, bumming smokes off of people before.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming them. It's me. It's my choice. It's, something I did.
Right.
I would certainly, if I were to ever smoke marijuana, then I would certainly never do it around people that feel that marijuana is an issue for them. I would certainly, if I ever were to do that, try to make them feel respected. This is going to be right out for me, mostly. So.
Yeah. Well,
but I also try not to drink around people who drink.
When was the last time that you did a substance like that? You said it was a while back?
Well, it's I'm a pastor.
Yes, but when was the last time that you did a substance of white powder?
It has been a long time. I feel that it's important to remain sober. It's important to not be owned by anything. I don't think I would be. Certainly, if I were to have ever done any substance, it would be like one time, and then I wouldn't do it again. And I certainly wouldn't buy it because that's just a waste of money.
Right.
But yeah, it's let's see, it was 15 years ago that I left that lifestyle behind and stopped doing it every day.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked. I said, when was the last time that you did it?
That seems to be a very specific question. What if I don't remember? When's the last time you did one?
5,000. But yeah, it was almost 6,000 days ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's because of the Nazarite fast that you're doing. Tell us more about the Nazarite fast.
Well,
how did you hear about it?
Through Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It is great. But we weren't talking about that. We were talking about the substances.
We were talking about substances. Guys, put in the comments the last time that you did some of these substances.
Or not.
Or not, as the case may be. I love asking people this question. I think this is a great question to ask people. When is the last time you did cocaine? You may actually be surprised by the answer to that question if you ask it to people you know in the church. Mostly, oh no, brother. Oh no, the Lord has a hold of my life. I have been to the river. I have seen the Holy Spirit. But you'd be surprised because is it fair to call me an unlicensed addiction counselor?
Sure.
I do a lot of that with people, and like the whole Nazarite fast thing was my idea.
Yeah.
Shun had the drug-free tattoo on his knuckles, and I've talked to a lot of people about how I overcame addiction. And for me, it was fasting and prayer. It was, you can change so much in your life. God regards the practices of fasting and prayer. In Isaiah 58, it says that if you're fasting, the Lord will guide you continually. It's wonderful.
I really like this. There's a comment here where Ryan Ober says, conviction is not a measure of sin.
Conviction is not a measure of sin. And tell us what that means.
I don't know.
Okay, so some people will say, well, I didn't feel convicted for killing that person. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a sin. Because it's only a sin if you're convicted within your own heart.
Is that right?
Yeah, the Bible does say in certain issues of choice, like food, eating certain kinds of foods or drinking, certain kinds of things that you have to do what you're convicted in your own heart. So conviction is not a measure of sin. The law or the scripture is a measure of sin. So, we have the 10 commandments. Don't kill anybody. If I shot Kink here on camera, well, it would be really amusing for me. Probably I would get in trouble.
Facebook would at least take the video
down. They would at least take the video down. We don't want that happening.
No.
We want it shared. So take this second.
Oh, and it would be bad for me too. I'm focused on views.
We'd get a lot of views.
We'd get a lot of views
for that moment.
For that moment.
Spike.
Just
anyway. But I'll tell you, what were we talking about? I got really interested in the idea of killing you, actually.
Indeed, because we were talking about when was the last.
And how did you feel that it would be when you moved in with me did you figure? What would your impression have been about my stance on drugs and alcohol before you met me?
Before I met you, I had no doubt in my mind that you were a totalitarian. You were
like no alcohol, no pot, no nothing.
Because of
and
perception.
Again, these are props, guys. This is not real
it's
stuff.
not real stuff. But it was because of perception, right? It was because of my thought with you, because you were a pastor. Because
Pastor James just floats above the air,
right,
and lays hands on your hair,
right.
Just put your head back for me, brother.
No. No. We're not doing that.
But it'd be fun.
But yes. But
just put your head back for me.
No,
and
good
drink
Lord.
This sweet tea.
I don't want any of your sweet tea. But
I don't even want it.
I know.
I would rather drink whiskey than this.
Right. I ain't gonna lie. I had a sip and
that's sweet. Rot your teeth. That's down south, by the way.
It's very sweet.
This is so much fun. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. Guys, you having fun with it? Hit the like button, hit the laugh if you are. Hit the little smiley face, by God, and put down your comments. And so we were talking about what drugs are. And I think a lot of people have kind of said, hey, there's pills that you're prescribed, that's okay. There's tobacco, that's okay. There's, marijuana, that's kind of okay. My feeling about marijuana is that the Lord grew it out of the ground.
Right.
And in 1935, when the pharmaceutical companies moved to get us hooked on the opiate addiction crisis and to give us synthetic heroin, that's when they made marijuana illegal. And now people don't have the medicine that they need to, not that this is not real pot. This is just my opinion.
Right.
My opinions are not the opinions of any of the organizations that I represent. But I think we believe this is on conscience basis. Is that fair? If your conscience says that you can smoke pot or smoke cigarettes, then so be it. And I think we believe much the same with alcohol.
Here's a great question from David K. He asks, making use of God's creation excuse, right? What are your thoughts on that? God made weed, but God also made tobacco and hops and all the other stuff. So is it okay or not?
Okay, so the book of Psalms, in Psalms 104, says that God made grapes so that it could make the face of man glad. Mm. Right? So they could make it into wine, and they could make the face of man glad. So literally, God is saying in Psalm 104, go run the reference, it's a fascinating scripture, that he gave us wine to make us happy. Okay. And so, and then there's, Proverbs 31 also says, has anyone had a bad day? Is their life distressed? Give them strong drink that they may drink and forget their troubles and remember them no more. So there's actually like there's some guidance in the scripture for the use of alcohol, and then also no drunkenness and debauchery and that kind of thing.
Right.
But there's guidance in the scripture. Jesus made wine. That was his first miracle.
Yeah. I was about to say.
So when it comes to hops, monks were the one who started brewing beer. They were Christians. They made great beer. America was founded on beer, son. Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin brewed their own beer. Did you know that?
I did know that.
And they also had stills, and they made whiskey. So I think these things are not only embedded in the culture, but I think God gave them to us for a reason. I don't believe it's any excuse to say, well, God made marijuana. The reason that I've seen you smoke pot, you are a clean and sober guy, yep. But you have a shoulder and you're with me and you're level 10 pain. I can just see you holding it and rocking and you're bitching at me and shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow, I don't want to see you in pain. And your sponsor agreed. Your sponsor in the net said, dude, it's medicine. Use it appropriately. That's a legal use in this area that we live. And so I completely agree. It takes the pain away. You go from telling me you're level 8 pain to level 2. Oh man, I feel great.
Right.
Well, good. It also freaks you out a little bit.
It does.
And I know that you experience pain in your shoulder.
Yeah.
That you will not do anything about because you don't want to smoke pot. You want to wait until you're level 10 pain before you're ready to do something about it. You don't even like to take the ibuprofen. I bought you 24 ibuprofen like a week ago, and you still haven't taken them all.
Right.
You're supposed to take 4 every 8 hours. You won't do it.
And that's the thing. That's just that's where I am on any kind of substance abuse, except for caffeine, because that's the thing that I do all the time. But
I don't think caffeine is a drug, dude. I hear people make this. You can be addicted to anything. Water will kill you if you swim in it long enough.
Yep. If you breathe enough of it.
Yeah. I don't think that as far as the concept of Tylenol is a drug and that kind of thing. Listen, you use it appropriately. It's here. God put this stuff here for a reason.
Yeah.
When we make white powders here in the world, yes, God made the cocoa plant, and khat, something you could chew. But when we extrapolate it into a bunch of drugs and battery acid and stuff and snort it up our nose, I think that's going too far for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So we were asked just
not that it's not fun, right? I get it. Like, it's good times.
Of course.
My personal experiences with drugs became that it was no longer fun. My nose is burning, my teeth are rotting. It's led me to it took me personally in a bad direction. And then it just stopped getting me high. Like, you don't get those bell ringers anymore where you like do some drugs and you just like, bing! Wow, this is the best feeling ever. You start to chase the high. And all of a sudden you're doing, instead of just doing like this much dope for the night, you do like 2 or 3 of these bags, and now you're buying it by the ounce. Like, for me, it was very much chasing a high that I wasn't getting anymore.
Mm-hmm. So when was the last time you actually did stuff like this? I mean,
I obviously quit 15 years ago. That's when I made the choice to stop doing drugs.
Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the last time you did it, though.
That's true.
So when was that?
Well, I over the last 15 years or so, I have smoked pot. Not constantly, but a fair amount. I did try antidepressants. Mm-hmm. And so my ex didn't like the fact that I smoked pot. She felt it made me lazy, and I think she just wanted to, well, I'm not going to say anything about that.
Right.
So I was encouraged by a friend to try antidepressants, and I tried Ambien for sleep. I tried Lunesta. I tried Trazodone and Seroquel and Paxil and Prozac, all kinds of stuff that a doctor just started cycling me through. Isn't it interesting that doctors practice medicine?
Yeah, they experiment on us.
Yeah. How does this feel?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I just, for me, I didn't create art while I was on those medications. I felt very rational. The worst one I ever took was Elavil. It was just like zombie.
Yeah.
I could make it through work, and I was fabulous because I was calm as hell, and it helped me to not be so excitable as an executive manager. But I couldn't do that on a daily basis. You're just drooling, you know what I mean? And so at some point, I quit all those pills, and I felt suicidal. Like, if you go cold turkey off the pills, dude,
yeah.
And so I have occasionally smoked pot, not all the time. I do have pain. I got shoulder pain. I've got broken ribs. Broken wrist, broken collarbone, injured rotator cuff, injured leg. I've got a lot of, and so weather changes are tough for me. Riding long amounts of hours are tough for me. I think that pot is what God gave us to deal with those kind of things. And personally, I believe that most people who do pot, most people who smoke pot, in my personal opinion, and again, this does not represent the opinions of any organizations which I may be part of or even lead, because everybody's got a different opinion about things, folks. Right. But I believe that pot is something that people use to medicate themselves. And so I believe that people who smoke pot are trying to overcome pain, anxiety, depression, all the same stuff that you can go to the doctor and get pills for. There are 5 pills right now the doctor has written me prescriptions for. 5 pills. I went through a lot of stress with my divorce. And I ended up in the hospital with a panic attack. So they gave me Klonopin, which is a benzo, Xanax, which is a benzo, Trazodone for sleep. They gave me another one. I can't remember what the other one was, but something else like that. And then they gave me one for nausea, because all the pills were causing nausea, right? And at the point, I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I can't. I'm not. It's like, that's not like a life. I'm just gonna benzo out. I can't do that. Like, I don't want that. But all those 5 pills could be replaced by, a substance that God made. And I think, what's the worst evil? The best thing would be that we all be pain-free and we live in a perfect world, and we will during the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ at the end of the age. So I'll drink some sweet tea to that. So
there was an interesting comment that just came up that I want to mention.
Sure.
So Daniel Williams said, "I don't use alcohol or drugs. I can't do it in a responsible manner. Some people can do it responsibly, and I do like the idea of not using it when having your rag on. Many people in clubs or secular biker world believe that it is a sin and will question how sincere you are about your Christian walk."
Yeah. And I think this is the whole point of what we're trying to talk about today. I have been around the world doing Christian stuff. I mean, I started in missions work when I was 16 years old in Mexico playing guitar and leading kids. You know, I can still sing the songs.
Sure.
Alabre, alabre, alabre.
But we don't need to. It's not music time right now.
Notice. I decidido seguir a Cristo. I decidido. I love singing in Spanish.
I know.
So anyway, I'm out of. Would you like a sweet tea?
I would not like a sweet tea. It's really terrible.
And what I've learned is that if the whole thing, the prohibition against alcohol is a denominational and also locational thing. If you live in the deep South, by God, you're not allowed to drink any alcohol when people can see. And that's my problem with that whole thing. But if you go to South Africa or Germany or anywhere else in the world, you're going to find that the Christians there drink. They drink wine. They drink, brandy wine. They drink all kinds of stuff. By the way, for those of you who are just joining the live stream, these are all props. We've got some awesome creamer here, some joints rolled out of tobacco, and some $150 worth of creamer here.
And a really dread razor blade.
Dude, if you ever do drugs, take it from me. Don't use a razor blade that's rusty.
This thing is dread.
All I'm saying. Of course, on the other hand, if you're snorting stuff up your nose, it's worse than that.
Probably don't care about a little rust.
Yeah. And this is sweet tea made for us by a dear friend.
That's right.
Which is disgusting. And it's just, look at the sugar. Can you see the sugar? On the glass, it's just like sugar stuck to the glass.
There's a lot of sugar in there.
It's crazy.
I
That's
mean,
Southern sweet tea, though.
But it's Southern sweet tea. That's authentic.
And guys, we're talking about what's your stance on drugs and alcohol. We're talking about what do you feel is right or wrong for a Christian to do. I would love to hear some comments about how, and be nice, please. There are Christians that do all of this and more, and they do it recreationally, and they hide it from the rest of you, and because they're afraid of what you'll say. But what would you say if somebody just opened up to you and was like, you know what, me and my wife go out once every couple months and get a hotel room and do some blow and have a few drinks and get liquored up and have a good time.
Right.
What would you say if a Christian that you went to church with, that you would just be shocked, right? They got a good job, because I know these people. By the way, some of you are watching right now. God bless you.
Pillars of the community.
Literally.
Yeah.
Part of the Chamber of Commerce. They work at the church. They went down to Florida for their vacation, and they just got a line of blow. A little 150 bag, nothing compared to the vacation they just took, and they had a good night in the. What would you say? Tell me why that's wrong if it's wrong to you. Because, I have to be honest. My deal is this. If you occasionally recreationally use some substance and it's not an issue in your life, it's none of my damn business, first of all, to give you an opinion about what you should do. And if God isn't bothered by it, if you feel like you're not convicted by it, if it's not a problem for you, if you're not wasting money on it and snorting it every weekend.
And it's not wasting your life. It's not hurting your life.
And I have to really look at, because I'm a pastor and I've heard confession before from people. And I've heard murder and rape and drug use and all of it, dude. I have heard stuff that just blew my mind. And all you can do is put your hand on them and love them and pray for them and anoint them with oil and you know what I mean? But I'm telling you, I've heard confession before, and I could really give a rat's ass if you and your old lady go down to Florida and get a hotel room and snort some coke one weekend as part of your vacation. It really just doesn't bother me. And I don't think that it bothers God either. Now, if you're convicted, if you got a problem with dope, listen, I am not suggesting, by the way, that any of you who are clean and sober go do this. If you got a problem, stay far away from it, right? The Bible says, stay far away from it. But I'd love to hear your comments on that. Why is it your business, first of all, what anybody else does? And second of all, is it important? Is it that important to God? Does God just, like, if it's a white powder, it's bad, but if it's weed, it's good, and if it's, we just judge people for so much stuff. I want to hear you guys' comments on that, man. That's the whole point of this show today. We're just trying to take a gauge. Where are we at as a society with this thing?
I love what David Cage just said. I could explain why it's wrong, and I can explain what you got to do to fix it, or I can just pray.
Or just love you.
Yeah. Well, I think those two are in the context of what he says. I think that's what he means. Pray, and love on you with prayer.
Here's the thing, if you confess to somebody, hey, you know what? And I've heard this, by the way. Okay, we're in a club of guys who have had substance abuse, problems. We've got a whole 43 Nazarite substance abuse help initiative that we work with guys on. But it is not impossible for somebody who is part of a Christian, motorcycle organization or part of the church to go out and just slip up one weekend and buy some dope and whatever. It's not impossible for that to happen. And I don't think that's the end of the world if it does. If you go to your accountability partner and say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to lie. This weekend, I ran across an old friend and they gave me, a line and, we hung out till 4 a.m. and I did some blow and I had a couple of drinks and I really screwed up. What are we supposed to do with that as sponsors, as part of an addiction ministry? What are we supposed to do with that?
Well, I know that if it was me, I'm not a sponsor for somebody, but if it was me and I went and talked to my sponsor that, I would want him to make sure that I was okay, number one, that I wasn't, falling off the deep end.
Sounded like you probably had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, and I would I would also hope that my sponsor is understanding of the fact that I'm not perfect, that I mess up, that things happen. And the responsibility of that sponsor is to be there to ensure that I'm under control, that I have somebody to talk to about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the important part.
And should you go like, oh, really, Kink? You did drugs? Oh my God, you used to be an alcoholic. The Bible says it's wrong. Should you do that?
No.
Why not?
Because
That's what I'd do. I'd be like, you did what?
What? Yeah! No. But I think the Bible reflects that we should always embrace people with love.
Yeah.
That we should not be condemning them or trying to point fingers and say, oh, I'm better than you. Because that's kind of what I get the feeling of whenever people talk to me about it.
Now, guys, I want you to put it in the comments. What does the Bible say? Like, literally, somebody posted up in the comments. Hit alcohol, hit drugs, hit marijuana, hit tobacco, hit caffeine. What does the Bible say?
Here's pornography.
And if it doesn't say anything, now what? And what's worse? Porn, murder, substance abuse. I know that substances destroy people's lives. Listen, they didn't destroy mine, but that's because the blessing of God was on me.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, with the comments and things going on, I mean, sin is sin, the consequences may be different, but sin is sin. Okay, that's good. But
where does it say it's sin? That's my issue.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Where does it say
now, that? Again, if your heart convicts you, if you feel the Holy Spirit telling you, no, son, don't you do that, then yeah, that's what you really need to stick with.
Yeah, I'm just going to read these real quick.
Guys, I'm James Disciple Johnson, and we're here at the Crown House in Cocoa, Florida. We hope you come by for some sweet tea and hang out. We've got the music studio here behind us, which we've been slowly working on. And got the drum set, the guitars. It's absolutely phenomenal. We shoot video here. We do exactly this. We're going to be doing these daily updates on a daily basis. And we're just trying to hit issues that are important to us.
Yeah.
And these are props, folks. These are not real deal, stuff. But it is kind of weird, to be honest, to cut a line right now. It's kind of weird,
Mm.
It's we used to do squiggles, do like these squiggles.
Yeah.
I can't even do them anymore.
Right.
You have to very carefully turn the blade. It's difficult to do.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you guys right now, it's bothering me a little bit.
Is it really?
It is, yeah.
Should we blow it all the way?
No, because then we have to vacuum. But
let me show you guys. Let me give you a strategy, just so you know. If anybody offers you a line one time, you get in a place and you don't want to be a dick about it or whatever, and they offer you a line. One thing I've done before is I lean over and go, one for the bros. That's one for the bros in the joint, man.
Right. Right.
But that's a really dick move. You should only do that after like several times of them offering you some dope.
Right.
What do we got in the comments?
A lot of good comments going on. The one of the ones that I really like here is that from Hendrik Mostert, who said, "The Bible says, don't cast your sins onto others, for you will be condemned. But he who prays for man with sin will be good in God's eyes." So I like that because it goes back to what we were saying about why a lot of Christians are very...
and this is the thing I want to hit you with. Don't be so judgmental. Don't be so judgmental. You've got to understand, as a pastor in the church, I've known many people with addiction issues. We're glad they're there. I don't want to make them feel like they should leave in any way. And you always got that deacon or elder in the church who comes and is like, they were in the bar last night. When they came through, I could smell the liquor on their breath.
That's right.
And I'm like, really? Like, just chill with it. We're cool. Let them come. We're glad they're here on Sunday morning. You know, it's not our business to judge people. It's our business to love people and help them out. If you come to me and you say, I've got a problem rolling $20 bills, then I'm going to tell you how to fix that. I'm going to give you the strategies that work for me and for other people. Things like the 12-step program, things like Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian version. You can quickly Google these things. 12-step meetings are happening all around you. Narcan, Alcoholics Anonymous, Friends of Bill W. You've got what we do is the 43 Nazarite. If you're interested in the 43 Nazarite, you can Google that stuff. Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club, 43 Nazarite. Google it. Google will quickly take you to our website where you can learn about the specific fast of the Nazarite vow. And it's just a very difficult, awful fast to do for 90 days. And it's, or minimum 90 days. Yeah. There's actually, I'm sorry, you get all the...
That's fine. There's a point here that David Cage has brought up that you mentioned just a moment ago, but I want to come back to it. If he says, based off of everything spoken today, if someone does not feel convicted, it isn't sin. And if we use God's creation in moderation, it's okay. That's where he has to personally draw a line. Right. So that's not exactly what I was trying to say. What I mean by that is there are sins that are laid out in the Bible. These are just sins. These are things that we do, or these are sins that we have. But I also think that if it's a personal sin, right? If it's if it's something personal to you that you're convicted about, that you have a problem with, like pornography. Okay, is that a sin? Well, there are mentions and sinner. There are mentions and there are there are definitely things about leering and all this other stuff and casting your eye and so forth. There's a lot of that in there, but does it say thou shalt not go to the internets to find porn?
Well, I have to say, you know what? We're going to leave that subject for another day.
Okay, that's fair. But
guys, join me for a sweet tea. I'm actually starting to grow on me.
I noticed that you're kind of hitting that sweet tea pretty hard.
Actually, not that bad. I probably just drank like 80 pounds of sugar.
I think you had quite a bit.
All right, so I think we're doing really well on this video. If you guys, if you're enjoying this video, hit the share button for me right now. Just hit that share button. Let people know you're watching. Let people know this has been an interesting conversation. If nothing else, you can watch James Disciple Johnson with fake joints and fake cocaine and all the... I'm sorry, creamer. It's $150 worth of creamer or thereabouts, I feel like. I bet there's somebody in the comments that's like, I could get that for $70.
Yeah, just don't, though. Let's not...
Not necessary.
Yeah, not necessary.
And we're just talking about Christians and their viewpoints of drugs, man. I want to tell you something. If you use substances like these, if this is something that's common for you, God bless you, man. And if you want to get out of it, man, send me a private message. I'd love to just give you whatever resources I can to help you overcome your addiction. And number two, if you use substances like these and you felt like God doesn't love you or the church is going to excommunicate you or the church has told you that you're a crap person, let me tell you something. God has not forgotten you. God has not forgotten you. All this stuff, man, this doesn't separate you from God. Making a choice to ignore God and walk away from God because you feel judged by the church, that will separate you from God. Don't let somebody else's judgment about things that you do keep you from being a man or woman of God. You could always stand up for the things of God. You could always say God bless you to somebody. You could always pray for somebody. You could always do good things. Move forward in your faith, man. Don't let the judgment of the church drive you away from Jesus Christ. Yeah. Don't let the fact that people are like, oh my God, you do drugs or you smoke pot or you do alcohol or whatever. Don't let that drive you away from the church. I'm going to be honest. I know that 99%, not 90, but I'm going to go with 80% plus of the people watching this show are totally against drugs and alcohol and think that nobody should do it. And that's cool, man. And then there's a small percentage of you who are doing everything plus some. You know, like I said, I'm not here to judge you, man. I'm here to love you. If you want a way out, dude, I got a way out. If that's your lifestyle, dude, I'm not here to judge. It's not my business. It's between you, God, and whatever you got going on in your life. And I have to really say that, man, because there's been a lot of people who've been hurt by the church, man, driven away from the church. And a lot of this is the reason why. And let me be honest, because, some of this is in my lifestyle. I drink occasionally. I may smoke pot or cigarettes occasionally. because some of that's in my lifestyle. There are people who look at me and say, oh, well, you're a bad person, or you couldn't really be a Christian, or what could a Christian be doing having a scotch in the evening while he's working on his computer, or smoking pot, or smoking. It's like the smokers at the church all hide around the back, you know what I mean? They're all back there puffing one real quick and hoping that nobody sees them. There's like a circle of 5 of them, and they're friends because they're smokers, and everybody else judges them. Like, I just don't want it to be that way. You know what? If God's not convicting you about it, then forget about it. That's what I say.
Right.
I'm not here to tell you that any of it's wrong. If God's telling you you need to get off that and you shouldn't touch it, then I'm here to help you with that too, man. I'm here to do my own path and not worry about whether anybody else is right and wrong. And unfortunately, the church likes to go around judging between people and deciding who should go to heaven and shouldn't. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's just not how it's supposed to be. So I encourage you, man, be encouraged. If you got substance issues or if you just happen to use things, then it's not my business. And the most important thing is that you know where God is with you, that you believe in God, that you move forward with God, that you continue to sow into Jesus Christ, reading the Bible, fasting and prayer, whatever you can do, do that. And then, as you do, other things the interest will go away.
I want to say one thing that just kind of hit me a minute ago. I had somebody a while back who never did drugs, never did any substances, never even drank, who wanted to counsel me on my problems with it. And I was like, son, right? But I was like, son, how can you tell me? So you read it in a book once. Okay, there's value in
reading a book
education.
about being a firefighter will not make you a firefighter.
Right. And there is value in education, yes, but in experience, that's why you can come to people like us, because we've been down that hole and we know how to get out.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you want to get out, reach out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know that I was ever in a hole. Maybe I was, man. Maybe when I had that wreck at one point, I couldn't walk for 3 months after doing meth for a period of time. Mm-hmm. I think it was about 3 months. So I was actually an opposite. I did drugs for like 3 months, and then I had a 3-month recovery time with my leg being injured. I couldn't walk for 3 months. That's interesting. That's the first time I've actually thought about that.
Yeah.
Numerology matters to God. God does little tricks like that.
Yeah.
It was actually it was a period of time of restoration for me where I just had to sit on the couch and seek the Lord. And the Lord got a hold of me,
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, guys, let's go ahead and get those likes, those thumbs up, and those shares. I think we've hit we're at the 43-minute mark. We were going to go for 30, but we were talking, and this is really good stuff. But yeah, hit us up with any of these questions. Leave comments. Give us those likes. Give us those shares. Those are important to us, and it helps us reach more people that might not necessarily be in our circles. So, reach out, do some sharing, do some outreach to people. And if you know somebody that may have talked to you about it, shoot them this video. So
I'd like to see you send this to people that you think are going to be interested in hearing it. Yeah. What does the church say about drugs? What does the church say about alcohol? I think that's a valuable conversation to have. And I also would like to hear from y'all. Does this bother you? Are we going to get in trouble? Is Retro going to call me and be like, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing?"
Right.
Should we do the line?
No.
It's just a line of creamer.
I know it's just creamer, but like I said, actually. I will tell you this: there are some folks in here that said that this does bother them, so that's why I'm a little.
Stop then.
Yeah, so let's just stop playing around.
Yeah.
Because we do take it seriously. Like it's approachable, it's fun. We do these things for props and stuff, but we do take the problems that
This is what we do at midnight.
Yeah.
This is just about midnight. We actually shot the pictures last night. We did a photo shoot in here. It took at least an hour to create that one photo.
Easily.
Of me sitting there kind of frowning over these props. And the whole point was to generate some interest. And obviously, we got 35 viewers right now? Is that correct? 36 viewers?
38 on my life.
Man, it's like, wow. You guys are obviously very interested in this subject as well. And I know you smoke pot and drink and smoke cigarettes and stuff, man. Every time I go to a disciple's house when I travel, can I say that?
Just not who.
Okay, every time I go to a disciple's house when I travel, it's the first thing I do. I'm like, thanks for giving me a place to stay. I'm riding your motorcycle. I'm looking through the cupboards. They're like, what are you looking for, brother? And they're getting more nervous as I get warmer and warmer. And their old lady comes into the kitchen. She's like, there's chips in the pantry and there's other stuff over here. And it's like, there's the cupboard. There's a couple bottles, whatever.
Right.
Whatever people have in their house. There's some beer in the fridge. I'm like, perfect. Pastor James came over and had a beer and a shot of so-and-so's whiskey. Well, it's your house. If you do it, I can.
Right.
Well, anyway, guys, I've enjoyed having my sweet tea, which my teeth are now going to rot out for. What?
Nothing. Just
What?
nothing. Roy Goodwin asks, are we sacrificing chickens under the full moon? No.
Absolutely.
No.
If there's a point.
We did have chicken wings under the
We did
full
have chicken
moon.
wings. Listen, my stomach told me I ate a lot of hot chicken wings yesterday. It was Super Bowl. By the way, congratulations to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Man. I don't care about the Super Bowl at all. Like, the Super Bowl doesn't matter to me. I used to watch it, right, but not anymore. So we literally painted this room last night and just pretty much sat around and thought up ideas like this.
Yep.
Because we're getting more active, man. As we have more time and less work to do, we're working on these daily shows. We're trying to really hone our message and make sure that you know that this is not really drugs.
Not drugs.
This is not drugs.
Not drugs.
This is $150 worth of creamer. See, I got proof. Creamer.
We could, in fact, put that in a cup of...
And this is... I don't understand why it's okay for me to have it in my coffee, but not snort it right now. I feel like for the bit, this is a show. We have to snort creamer. Everybody hit the like button.
Let's not.
They hit the like. It's already done. They voted. Nobody was like, no, don't snort the creamer, James. And so I have this $20 bill and this rusty razor. But this is all sweet tea, and these are cigarettes that are tobacco rolled.
They're hitting the thumbs up. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Listen, we got 41 viewers at this point.
Yeah.
And they all want to see me snort a line of creamer.
We are so not doing that.
And we might as well just go for an hour. Will you hand me the clarinet?
No, I will not.
Guys, we're going to take a musical break.
No, we are not going to take a musical break.
Yes, we are. Because we have a drum set. Isn't it? It's important to have a drum set. Do you love it?
We have a drum set.
You bought it.
I know.
All right. So anyway, we've been talking about what Christians believe about drugs. Oh, that could have been bad.
That could have been bad.
And also clarinets. What do Christians believe about clarinets?
Well, this Christian believes that clarinets can be beautiful when played correctly. Example, not this. I don't mind that at all, as a matter of fact.
It's like a dog.
It's just a little
Like
weird.
a dog you stepped on. Dear God in heaven.
Right?
Roy Goodwin, you got to come down to Florida. So, have you done drugs? Are you clean and sober? Post up in the comments your amount of clean and sober days. Kink has almost reached 6,000 clean and sober days.
That's right.
I have reached 0 clean and sober days. That is a true statement.
That is a true statement.
Because I do partake in having a beer every now and then.
Yeah.
Including last night.
Indeed.
For the non-Super Bowl party that we had here.
Yeah, that actually did remind me. We got a great deal on chicken wings to the Super Bowl. It was beautiful. It's not bad. Just a little bit more practice.
Yeah, we're getting there. I love the clarinet, by the way. It's so much fun to play. I also love sweet tea, and I'd like to thank our 1,000th subscriber on YouTube. Woo!
That's right.
And she is actually the one that made this sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Carla, the cleaning lady. You may have seen the episode that we did, two girls, 2 couches, 2 hours. And if you haven't, go to YouTube and check that stuff out.
Yep.
How we got 2 free couches for the Crown House here. One to be used at some point in the worship center here where we're sitting. And so as part of her deal, when she cleaned the house, she left us some sweet tea. Yeah. Which we didn't drink because we don't drink sweet tea.
We don't drink sweet tea.
But when this bit came up, it was obviously pretty funny. And she also is a musician, so we fully intend to have her come and record with us here. It's her clarinet. This is one of her clarinets that she left here, which is absolutely phenomenal.
James Johnson and the Sleeping Cobras. That's what Retro believes your band should be. Chris, if you go to YouTube and just search James Disciple Johnson, you'll be able to find it, no problem. We'll post a link up in here after the show. You can go click on that to subscribe. We really appreciate you doing that.
Guys, we want to remind you that this is the Crown House Studio here in Cocoa, Florida. This has been set up to have a worship center with 24-hour worship. We have set it up to be able to have 5 men move into the same house and begin fasting and praying for global revival. And so that's what our whole goal and intent is, man, to present the gospel of Jesus Christ, to present real Christianity to people, to present worship music. We're going to be live streaming live worship music that will be playing together from the worship center here in the Crown House Studio. Great video. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video today. Please click the like and share and subscribe buttons if you did, because we're really trying to focus in on what it takes to reach the people who are there at the fringes of Christianity. Maybe they drink. Maybe this is what they do. You know, we want to tell them, hey, come on back to the church, yo. Come, do whatever you got to do, but come on back to the church. Yep. And as you step closer to Christ, man, as those things that you are concerned with will come off your life. But don't wait until you're perfect to come to the church. That's not what you should do, man. When you got problems with substance addiction, that's the time to reach out. Reach out before it becomes a problem. Be willing to step up and say, hey, this is a problem for me. I've got to deal with this.
That's right, yeah. Look, I'm good with this. So there's some people that saying that they're not really sure what they're watching. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
you'll have to go back and watch the beginning. All right, guys. Well, God bless you. Thanks for watching. I'm James Disciple Johnson. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you haven't already, our 1,000th subscriber is going to get a free t-shirt. We're hooking Rubble up with the information, and that free t-shirt will be going out. Thanks for following what we do. Thanks for, it's a small thing to go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, but it's amazing. It's allowing us to move forward with our goal of creating film that will convict people about the power of Jesus Christ and bring the fire.
Bring the fire.
Woo! I need the fire. Do you need the fire?
Lord.
I need the fire.
That's right. I do want to show everybody this beautiful room back here, black and red and gorgeous.
Yeah, it's panorama.
On the other side, on the other side
so
of
this
room.
is the Crown House Studio.
Yes.
This is what you can't see based on our shot that we were taking. Mm-hmm. And then we've got the chroma green wall. So I'm sure you guys have heard of a green room, green wall. So this is to shoot video in front of it so that you can cut everything in the green out. And so then you can put me in front of a running tiger or something if you want. And so, whatever it's going to be. You can set me on my motorcycle riding down the road when I'm too old to ride it for myself. And then, of course, all the other walls are black. So we are definitely making some progress on the studio and all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for, being part of what we're doing, supporting it, watching the videos, sharing them. Help us go viral, by goodness. I think that we will support not only our ministry, but global missionaries through Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club, based on, just getting to shoot video about stuff we love doing.
That's right.
And you know what we don't love doing? Drugs. But I'll tell you, if you got a problem, reach out to us because we'd love to help you. God bless you. Thanks for watching.